Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Brian. Brian is from North Carolina in the USA. So let's see what Brian has to say. Enjoy the interview. How are you, Brian?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. Thank you. Right, so before we start again, tell me where you're from.
I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, but I live in Greensboro, Burlington, North Carolina. People know Greensboro better than Burlington, but that's where I've been for the last 15 or so years. So my family moved from Seattle after I graduated high school, and we've been here ever since.
Right. How old are you when you moved to North Carolina?
Oh, I was 18. So I finished high school at 17, and then I went to in the summer when I turned 18, we moved here to North Carolina, and then I went to school in Wilmington, which is on the coast by the beach.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Brian?
So I do a couple different things. I am a land developer, so we do that in different facets, but mostly it's residential. We do some retail and commercial. We work with different capital investors, and we work on basically getting land ready for builders to build homes so people can live in those communities.
Oh, wow.
And then my other job is I'm a coach for a tennis team in college here in Greensboro.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. And what do you like the most about your job?
Oh boy. So for development, I would say, I guess for both of them, it's sort of managing and being able to kind of see the bigger picture, help direct people, and you have a lot of different working parts that need to kind of understand how things work together, and that's kind of my job. And I majored in and got my master's in communication studies, and so I pride myself on being able to help other people understand the importance of what they do and how it connects to the bigger picture.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Okay, Brian, so just before we start our journey on Will and the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Okay. There are many things that I find interesting about myself that I don't necessarily share with everybody. One of those things would be that I am a singer. I love to sing. I don't get to do it very much. I also love to act. I don't get to do that very much. I've only been in, I think, 1 or 2 plays before, and I've only sang at a couple different venues. I'm extremely busy with sports and with work and everything, and but that would be something that's interesting. And I'm also a pickleball player, and a lot of people don't know what pickleball is, but it's sort of like tennis, sort of like ping pong. It's a mix of the two. But I play that at a pretty competitive high level, and that's a lot of fun too.
Amazing, amazing. I wish I knew that you're a singer. I could ask you before to prepare something to sing in the end of the interview.
I don't mind singing at the end of the interview.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. Great. Okay, Brian. So, welcome to William and the Magic Box. I've got here box full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Just before I pick up the first question, if there is a question you don't have an answer for, I always can change, okay? It's all very friendly.
Okay.
First question for you is, how would are you in a relationship or you're single?
I am currently in a relationship.
Right.
Yep, and his name is Austin, and we met on Tinder, of all places, so that's pretty cool. But we've been together for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years on Black Friday of this year.
And he's around?
He is not here today. He's actually driving down to a concert in Atlanta. He's going to see 21 Pilots, and he is extremely, extremely excited. I've heard about it for the last 3 months. So I'm glad that it's finally happening so that I can at least hear about the experience instead of him being excited about the experience.
Amazing, amazing. So this question is going to fit you well. How would your partner describe yourself?
Okay. I would say that he would say that I'm very caring, emotionally invested in the people that are around me, and yeah, that I have a lot of fun in life, and yeah, I care a lot about my family and those around me.
Very good, very good. Second question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, sorry. Tell us something that you have done that you feel very proud of yourself.
Wow. I think for sure that would be getting sober. I have been sober for over 4 years now, and about 4.5 years ago, a little over or a little under that, I started a journey of trying to improve myself both physically and spiritually, and I think I've done a really good job of finding a new path for myself. I work a 12-step program, which is extremely important. I couldn't do it on my own. The blessings that I have in my life today, including my relationship, my animals, my house, everything, are a direct result of me taking the next right action and getting sober.
And when was the moment, Brian, that you said, okay, it's the moment that I'm going to start this new life? What happened, if you can walk me through?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my grandmother actually was sober for 25 years. So alcoholism is a part of my family's journey, certain parts of my family. And one of my exes actually was in recovery. And so I was exposed a little bit to sobriety and what it can do for you and the positive effects of it. And I think that really helped me when I was struggling and wasn't able to stop drinking. I was able to kind of remember, those people and experiences that I've had, and come to AA and find a way to live differently, and take the suggestions, work the steps, and really find my journey. But yeah, I had a really, really bad night. It culminated in one bad night. There were many, but I drank way too much. I don't remember how I got home still to this day. I don't know. I didn't drive. I have no Uber receipt or anything. I know that I got in a fight because it's on my phone. I guess you could say fight. Somebody threw me down because I was being belligerent. Just a lot of things that aren't me, and I just wasn't happy with myself. Couldn't accept kind of where I was in life, and was disappointed. And drinking was my coping mechanism. And so I had a lot of hopes and dreams that I felt like I ruined, and all those other things. So getting sober really helped me focus on the fact that I'm proud of who I am. I love who I am, and I'm worth saving, and doing better for myself, and then I can help others around.
Very good, very good. Next question. Let's do it, Brian. Right, next question for you is, what is your favorite memory of your time at school?
Favorite memory of my time at school? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I would say, so there were two different times I was at school. I went to UNCW, and I left school because I had recently come out to my family, and it was a big struggle for me at that time, and I was not ready to be around the people that I was around. I needed a change, and I left. And when I came back and went to UNCG to get my undergraduate and graduate degree, there were so many amazing moments. But I would say I was able to get into a master's program, and then I did a study on visualization techniques, and I was required to do a presentation in front of my graduate class and professor, and that was really rewarding because it just helped me realize how far I had come, and how much gratitude I had for what I was able to do, and how I was able to share things that I never would have been able to with people around me, and that was really cool. I got them to close their eyes and focus on something positive and how to visualize, doing something that they love and doing it in the best way possible, which was really cool. So I got to bring some sociology, psychology into it, and also that emotional aspect, which I really appreciate. So that was fun.
Very good. Good one. Ready for another question?
Yes.
Let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me what's the most challenging part of your both jobs?
Okay, so dealing with people is always difficult. So especially when you manage them and are somebody that they look up to, or somebody that's more in control of how things are going, you definitely take on more of the responsibility, more of the burden oftentimes. So I'd say on the development side, there's a lot of different personalities, and trying to understand those personalities and be accepting of them while still trying to get the job done can be really difficult, because oftentimes my personality might clash with somebody else. But at the end of the day, it's about getting the work done. It's not about, if we like each other as much as possible, especially in the business world. So in tennis, it's a little different, because I better like them if I'm coaching them. It'd be pretty difficult if I didn't. And I do. I love the team. I'd say the most difficult aspect is things not being in my control. And I'd love to be able to do something for them or save them when things aren't going right, and I can't. All I can do is give my advice and share my experience, but that can be really difficult at times.
Okay, very good. Next question for you is, tell us about your best holidays, your vacation, and why you consider that.
Okay, so vacation, not the holidays, right?
Yeah,
I know holiday in other countries is like having a holiday, going somewhere. The holidays for us is like, it's the Christmas time. Oh man, and that's like my favorite time ever. So, but yeah. Okay, so favorite holiday. I have a lot of great holidays. I'd say one of my favorites was going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico with my family. I don't know why that one sticks out to me, but it was really cool for me at the time. I think I was 13 or so. And they had like this swim up bar that I could order, virgin strawberry daiquiris. And they had these places where we could walk on the beach and barter with people for stuff. And it was I love learning different cultures, and being around different people. So that was a lot of fun. And to spend that time with my family in like a different atmosphere was a lot of fun.
Very good. Next question. Let's do it. When you think about Seattle, what's the best memories that come to your mind straight away when you think about hometown?
Oh gosh. So when I hear specifically Seattle, I lived in Seattle for a couple years after we moved here. And I had some awesome friends that I met in softball in Seattle. I didn't really put myself into the LGBT community in any area until I went to Seattle. I had friends, but I wasn't extremely comfortable with myself at the time. And when I went to Seattle, my boyfriend at the time was playing on a softball team, and I was like, you couldn't pay me to do that. And then I went to one of his practices, and I met all these people, and I was like, I've got to do that. And so I joined a team, and it was one of the best experiences of my entire life. The people were amazing. They loved me for me. They were extremely outgoing. We went out and we had so much fun together, and I'm still friends with almost every one of them today, because I could just be myself and we were so genuine. And that experience taught me that I don't have to be anything else other than me for people to love me, which was really cool.
Right. Next question for you is, who was your first crush and why?
Yeah, so crush is hard because, so physical crush, like a person, was probably Kayla was her name. And I actually ended up going to homecoming. I only went to one dance ever, and I think it was 15 or 16. And we went to homecoming together, and she was just super quiet. She was really pretty. And she wasn't this like super outgoing person that I couldn't be around, that like I felt nervous around. I felt pretty comfortable around her, and yeah, we're still friends today. She's like a bodybuilder, which is so cool. But yeah, she was probably my first crush. It was my first kiss. But yeah,
Oh, oh.
yeah.
And your first love as well?
No, my first love actually, their name was Marie, and I was probably 15 or 16 at that time, and met them through tennis, and was just completely head over heels for the moment that I saw her. So yeah, that lasted for many years, because I just couldn't help the feeling. But yeah, it took a lot of time and distance to change that. But yep, she just had a kid, which is awesome. I still can't stay in touch with her.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Next question, Brian. Let's do it. Next question for you is, if you met someone sad in the streets, what would be your advice to this person?
I think my advice would probably be, well, I think it would be hard, because I think my first instinct wouldn't be to give advice. My first instinct would be to be willing to listen, because I think a lot of times when people are sad, they don't necessarily need advice. They need somebody that cares. I know that a lot of times when people come into, come talk to me about sobriety, or come talk to other people about sobriety, what I've learned the most is that people can really share their experience and where they're at, but also they want to connect with that person and learn about them, and help them feel valued. Because a lot of people, I feel like, that maybe feel like they need to give up or don't have any other options. I think that a lot of times stems from that they feel like there's nobody else that cares about them, or maybe they don't feel like they should care about themselves or love themselves. And so I would first try to learn about them, and then all I can do is really share my experience about what's happened to me when I felt sad, and what I did to change that, which is find love for myself and value myself, and be willing to do things differently, which takes a lot of courage and effort, but it's worth it.
Very good. Good one. Next question. You have someone by your side? You have your dog?
Yeah.
Can I see? Oh, who's that?
This is Grammer, like Grams.
Hello, Grammer. How old is he?
He just turned 1 2 days ago.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
He's an Aussie Shepherd, and Macy is his older sister, and she's an Aussie as well. So, yeah.
Oh, very interesting. I love this question. If you could sit down with yourself when you were 13 years old again, what would you say to yourself at the time?
Gosh. I would tell myself everything is going to be okay, and everything's going to work out the way that it's supposed to. I had so many visions when I was 13 about exactly how I wanted my life to be, and it's nowhere near that, but also it's better than I could have imagined. And so maybe tell myself to be willing to accept that things would be different, but also that you're going to be super happy, and that you can just be yourself, and people are going to love you no matter what.
Amazing. When you mentioned about being coming out as gay, Brian, tell me when was the moment when you said, okay, what was the reason you said, okay, I need to come out, or I will come out now? It was something that happened, or just felt naturally, genuinely, said, okay, I just feel ready for that. I'm just going to come out to my family. Something happened?
That's a tough question, because I didn't necessarily get a choice in coming out to my whole family. I came out to a lot of my friends at college. People at Wilmington were extremely accepting and open, and were awesome about it. And so I guess I started to get to the point where I was like, oh, maybe people are maybe it's all in my head, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then I ended up coming out to my sister. She was the first family member that I came out to. I felt comfortable talking to her, and we were able to, discuss openly. Unfortunately, I feel like she felt like she couldn't handle that information all on her own. And though it's not really her information to tell, she shared that with my parents. And so that was a difficult moment because I felt kind of bombarded. They showed up at my college and all that stuff. So that was a really tough moment because I felt like I didn't really get the opportunity to tell them about myself in the way that I wanted to. But at the same time, it took many years for my family to not just like tolerate me, but accept me and love me. They love who I'm with. And none of that would be possible if it didn't happen sooner rather than later. So I'm not angry about that anymore because I feel like that's just part of my journey, and it can help me, work with other people and talk with other people that may have a similar experience to me.
All right. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. Next question. All right. Next question for you is, what gives you butterflies?
Oh, wow. Sports, 100%. A lot of people think being gay and being in sports is not not as normal, but I am all about sports all the time. And I would say no matter what it is, if it's ping pong against my nephew or whatever, I always get so excited about playing sports because it's given me so much in my life. It's so much fun. I've had a lot of success doing it, playing tennis, basketball, pickleball, you name it. So I would say sports, absolutely. And then getting on stage, being in front of people, it's tough. I mean, there's positives and negatives, but when you can kind of take those butterflies and those emotions and do something great with it, it's pretty awesome for people to see and to experience yourself.
I'm going to tell you something personal now. First of all, I would sign underneath your statement right now because I totally agree with what you said. I grew up like sports in my life. I played volleyball professionally as a teenager for years and years. And I'm so grateful this period of my life because I just love it. I just love sports. I think sports gives you the best you can imagine. I think your life, it goes in a better direction with sports when sports are around. And I believe as well that, for example, when they the Olympics or the World Cup, all this kind of sports, for me, I'm so fascinated. I could spend hours and hours just like in front of TV. I think it's so amazing. And I'll tell you something now about tennis. Tennis is one of my favorite sports as watching. And the first, I was playing tennis the other day, but I never got into it playing it, but I just love watching tennis. I can watch tennis like forever. And the person who because of Roger Federer, I love Roger Federer. For me, he's the king of the kings of sports. And I'm grateful to him because before moving to the UK, I was living in Portugal, and I never forget this moment. I was working in a restaurant, and my manager, he was like, watch. He said, what do you watch? He said, oh, I'm watching the tennis, the final, Wimbledon final. And it was Roger Federer, I think, and I don't remember, was Nadal, I don't remember. And I was like, my God, how? He was so into it. And I started watching it. And for that day, tennis just became my joy in life of watching. I can spend hours and hours watching tennis. I think it's just beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I could talk for a long time about Roger Federer and his impact on the game.
Oh my gosh.
I'm left-handed, so I love Nadal, and I take nothing away from him, but my favorite player of all time is by far Roger, and it's not just because he wins. It's because of who he is and his demeanor and what he does for the sport, and he's a perfect example of kind of what you were talking about, which is sports does so much more for you than just give you adrenaline and give you wins or success on a court. Yeah. It gives you discipline. It teaches you character. Yeah. It helps you with so many different aspects of your life. So yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
Absolutely. Right. I have 3 questions left for you. Okay. Let's do it. Right. Before the next question, right. Let's say that you wake up in the morning and you have 3 missed calls, one from Roger Federer, one from Djokovic, and one from Nadal. Which one you would call back straight away? Which one you send a message saying, okay, I will call you like the end of the day or in a few hours? And the other one you said, okay, I can call him another time. Which one would be?
Depends on what information I'm getting on that call. To be honest with you, I am somebody that likes to understand people and why they are the way that they are. And I feel like the one that I understand the least is Novak. So I would probably answer his call immediately, because I would want to understand. A lot of times he's seen as the villain in tennis, and I know that that's not true. I know he has a lot more to him than that, and I would really like to learn more about him and learn why he is the way that he is, what affects him in the way that he's affected. I'm extremely emotional, and I have high positive emotions and high negative emotions, and I can empathize with him when he's on the court a little bit. So I'd love to learn what makes him that way, and ask him some thought-provoking questions, and then I'd probably text Roger and tell him I'd call him back here soon. And then Rafa, I feel like I feel like I understand him. I don't know if it's the lefty thing or what, but he's a fighter just like me. I think he's the most like me, and so I kind of understand him. So I'd probably let that one go for a little while, just because I think words need not be spoken.
Good one, very good one. Right, next question for you is, what has been the lowest point of your life?
Definitely when I was drinking all of the time. So, that's tough actually, because when I first came out, or when my family found out, that was a really, really low point too. That was difficult because it shook my core, because my family is my core. My family and I are extremely close. We were inseparable. My father and I are best friends. And so that was really hard for me, because I didn't know. It basically felt like I was in a nightmare. Like you can't wake up from it. But I knew it was happening. And so that was really hard. I'd say that was probably the most difficult time in my life that I didn't really have an answer for, because you kind of have to work through that and find your way. And then sobriety was the scariest low point, because trying to get sober was the scariest low point, because I couldn't do it on my own. I literally couldn't stop drinking on my own, which was really hard for me to grasp, because I like to show that I'm in control and that I know what to do, and I wasn't able to. And so that night that I talked about earlier, that was really difficult for me. That was definitely an extreme low point, because I knew I was disappointing people. I knew I wasn't there for people. I knew I wasn't taking care of myself. And so I knew at that point I had to do something about it. Otherwise, I may not be here. So.
Good. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Right. For the next one, who's your female favorite tennis player?
Oh gosh.
Top three.
Yeah. I'm just thinking through it, because I have a lot. So if we're going back in the day a little bit, Jennifer Capriati was an incredible athlete. She had a great story. She also dealt with addiction. She had family issues that kept her from playing. So I really admired her for her comeback and winning more majors. So that was really cool. I'd say current would be Coco Gauff. She is incredible. She's a fighter. She's fierce. She has so much tenacity.
So young.
Yes, and she has so much talent. And she handles pressure moments better than anybody that I've seen in a really long time for her age. And then, oh man, that's tough for my third. But I would probably have to say, I don't know why this comes to mind. I wouldn't even think this, but now I am, and it would be Martina Navratilova. I was thinking Serena, and I was thinking all these other people that have won all these majors, and then I'm sitting there, and Martina has. But what Martina did for the sport, and especially as I age, I admire because she was able to win majors in 4 different decades. She won majors in mixed doubles, doubles, and singles. And she was able. She's out. She's a lesbian. She has affected the sport more than probably anybody, in my opinion. Maybe Billie Jean King has more. I didn't get to watch her play, so that's a little bit different. But what she's done and how she's affected the sport, I admire, and I think she's really set the way and the path for people like her, and for people of older age to say, hey, even if I can't play tennis like in a singles or setting, or the way that I used to, I can still be successful later on in life.
Right, good one. Right, next question for you is, if you could give just one advice to our current president, what that would be?
To our current president?
Yeah.
Okay. So politics is really difficult for me because I have people in my life that are on both sides of the equation. And I think the biggest issue right now is that everything is about politics rather than about bettering our country. And the biggest advice I could give is, let's start over. It's, for me, you have 50% of the nation on this side and 50% of the nation on this side. And I don't think anything can fully improve, just like on a tennis team or in work or business or whatever. If everybody's not on board and we're going this way and not this way, I don't know how we make a better life for everybody that's involved. I know that it's not that simple. I know that there are things beyond my comprehension that we deal with, but I do also know that money is the biggest factor that decides where our country goes, and I don't think that should be the way that this country is run. I do like that we have a democracy. I just wish that there were more people at the party that could that it wasn't all about the billions of dollars that were spent for somebody to become president, that it was about the character of the person, and that we were able to make our decision based off of the person and who they are, rather than political stances that they may or may not even actually believe in. So that's what I would say. We have to try to find some commonality and work together. And I just don't see that happening right now, but that would be, in a perfect world, that would be fantastic.
Right, good answer. Ready for the last one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Before the last question, I would like to, I had an interview with so many people around the globe, and there was someone as well saying that he went through a tough moment with alcohol. And he mentioned about something that, not with himself, but was somebody else mentioned to him, that he said that he's very grateful for every glass of alcohol he had in the past, because it made become the person who is here today. Do you agree with that, and why?
Absolutely. So when I first came in to my 12-step program, they kept telling me, I kept hearing, like, you won't regret anything, or everything that you've been through, your experience can help somebody. And I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, right. There's lots of things that I'd like to take back and all these other things. And then as I continued my journey, and as I heard people share about what happened to them and the things, and like new people coming in and talking about, oh, this just happened, and they feel awful and they feel terrible about themselves and all those things. And I go, I get that. I understand exactly what you're feeling, because I've been through that experience. And the fact that I can share in that experience and share with them that they're not alone helps everything that I've been through be worth it. And so I don't regret anything. I wouldn't take anything back, because I'm extremely happy with who I am and where I am in life. And I don't think that I would be able to affect so much change, positive change in other people, if I didn't have those experiences to draw on.
Right. Last question for you is, what was the last thing that made you smile genuinely?
Oh, I smile all the time. Probably this morning, when my boyfriend texted me and they were on their way to. Actually, the last thing was he called me right before this, and they were stopped in South Carolina for a pit stop, and he was just telling me about what was happening, and it makes me smile when he calls and talks to me, and when he thinks about me. So yeah, I would say that was the last time.
Very good, very good. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Let's do it.
Money. Money.
Greed.
Love.
Passion.
Family.
Yeah.
Life.
Family.
Sex.
Fun.
Politics.
Complicated.
Religion.
Complicated.
Fear.
Powerless.
Friendship.
Wow, lots of people come to mind. Family.
Desire.
Love.
Regrets.
None.
Success.
Happiness.
Wish.
Fulfillment.
Happiness.
Joy.
One word for tennis.
Spiritual.
Oh, good one. Right. What's your favorite Grand Slam?
Oh, wow. I would say, God, that's so hard. Got to be the US Open, only because I love when they play under the lights at night. It's so much fun. I love all the majors. I want to go to all of them, but there's something about playing on Arthur Ashe Stadium at night that is so cool. I've been able to watch Roger Federer do that one time ever, and that was awesome. That was 2 years ago. But yeah, the US Open is just kind of just such a cool experience. But man, if I feel like going to a major like Roland Garros would be so awesome, because the points would just be epic. And it would just be so much fun on the clay, because I love clay. It's my favorite surface. But yeah, I'd say US Open.
Okay, and one word for Roger Federer then.
Champion. And not just in tennis, but as a person. He is a champion caliber person, individual.
And the last one now, USA, one word.
I would say fear.
Okay. Let's pretend now we're going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, define Brian in one positive word and one negative word only. What he would say?
Loving and emotional.
Which one is the negative?
I would say emotional, because most of my friends know that I'm incredibly outgoing, that I'm fun-loving. Oftentimes I can let like my mood, sometimes a negative mood, affect other people. I don't mean to do that. I'm Irish, Italian, Greek. I have a lot of emotion inside me, and sometimes I don't like direct that in the right way, and so I can affect other people's moods because I get so down or sad. And so yeah, it can be a really positive thing, but also it can kind of be a downer.
Very good, very good. Let's play now Brian and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. Right, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. Actually, I was sitting there going, I don't have any questions, but I would really love to know why you're doing this. What made you start this channel, and what is it that makes it fulfilling for you?
Right, very good question. I think, Brian, I think all of us, the same passion you're talking about sports, about tennis, overall, about life, living life. I think at the end of the day, a lot of us, we try to find what we came to this world for, what is our desire. I think everyone, we have different talents and we can do different things in life. We can follow a lot of different careers as well. But saying that, when I'm talking to people around me, friends, and people are always, when you're talking about job-wise, they were like, oh, you know what, I love my job. I love what I do for a living. You know what I mean? And I always literally, I was asking myself the same question. I couldn't find an answer. I couldn't find an answer, like genuinely an answer. And I know that I could do different things in life, what gives me pleasure as well. We were saying about being staged at the same time, like sports, it's all connected. And for me, I totally agree. So I think the Magic Box is a gift. It's a gift that came along in a very dark place. I think last year when the world went upside down with the COVID situation, COVID crisis, all of us went through a lot of tough times. At the same time as well, a lot of creativity came along. And I think that I'm so grateful, besides the negativity and the sadness around the world, I'm so grateful for this dark time last year because this I found my way in life. I found what I want to do for life. I found it what I came to this world for. And that question that was hidden all the time, like all my years, like through my life, it's answered now. I found the answer for that. And that's what is the Magic Box. I think this project is a gift that if I would see someone doing that, like somewhere, I would be like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing that. I think so. It's a gift that I have the pleasure and I'm so grateful that I have the pleasure to connect with people worldwide and see how much people have to share, how much people they are so interesting, and how much people can connect with each other as well. So I think this Magic Box just is a dream. It's something that was hidden somewhere, and I'm so grateful that last year on a run, I was running the park. And suddenly this idea just came along and I literally couldn't run anymore because it was so powerful that I remember I was looking up, oh my God, I couldn't even believe. I remember the place where I was in the moment because I had goosebumps around my body. I was like, my God, what's that? That's what I want to do. And of course, the most I do, the most I enjoy. And I think that's a gift. I think that's what I enjoy in life. Just having this connection with people around the globe and let them share their memories in life as well.
That's awesome.
Very good. Did you enjoy the experience?
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I watched a couple interviews and I was like, man, I wonder like what my response would be to that. But actually, it's when you try not to think too hard, it's actually kind of fun because it helps you. I genuinely believe the more you talk to other people and talk about like your experiences and yourself, the more you learn about yourself, which is really cool. So there were some answers that I gave today that had I not had the question, I would know less about myself. So it's really cool to have this experience and to share it with you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Brian. Okay, so I've got two things I'd like to ask you. That came to my mind. Something that's right before we finish the game. Thanks so much for your time, and I'd like you to sing as well, if you don't mind. But before you sing, I would like you to tell me something that's it's something that I'm just curious about regarding tennis. The 90s, the old times, the players, when they reach like 30, 32 years old, they're already old for the game, yeah? And nowadays you can see how much, like Roger Federer is a big example, he's 40 years old now and he's still the top, on the top of the ranking. So what's your opinion on that? Why is that? Why it's changed right now? Why?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with technology advancements, the trainers that they have that are available to them, and the ways that they keep them healthy, which we could never pay for, with the money that we earn. I think that is a big help, but I also think, like right now, there's so much passion for the sport and there's so much love for the game. And I think a lot of times what's pushing people is wanting that more. They don't want it to stop, and they're able to push through and to find a way to keep going, which is really cool. What I don't understand is how you can get injured at an older age and then come back and be successful. He's done it many times. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it again. But that's super impressive because I know that if I have an injury and I get set back, even at the age of 34, it takes a lot to get me back to where I want to be. And that's not at a professional tennis level. That's at, Brian's level, which is good, but not nowhere near there. And so I have a lot of admiration for that, but I also think, 30 years ago, 30 years old is different now than it was then. Yep. People are living longer. I mean, you look at different athletes in different sports and they're able to go longer. And I think that will be a trend. I think, even in my lifetime, when, I'm 70 years old or 80 years old, somebody that's 50 will probably still be playing professional sports.
Very good, very good. I never forget when he took 6 months off and he came back and he won the Australia Open. I was like, what? I remember watching the game. I remember like jumping around the living room because for me it was like just to see him, like, you know what I mean? I could feel his energy at the time. I could feel it.
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with that new technology for his new racket, because he had to switch to a different frame to give him the ability to step into the court and be more aggressive. And if he didn't do that, there's no way he would have won 3 more majors.
Amazing. Right, before you go, would you mind to sing a little bit, please?
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long, and I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Hey, thank you very much. Amazing.
Without any warm-up, I didn't want to go much further than that.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much for the interview.
Absolutely.
All the best. Enjoy your weekend, okay? Regards.
Thanks, William. Have a good one.
Bye. And you. Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.